Hi, in this video drum lesson we're going to take a look at the two verse drum beats from the song Closer to the Edge by 30 Seconds to Mars, and drummed of course by Shannon Leto, or Shannon Leto. And it's a 2-bar pattern, and we're playing 16th notes. We're counting 16th notes all the way through. 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 3 Eander, 4 Eander for both bars. And if you find this difficult to follow, then please do visit my website, follow the link at the bottom of this video, and get the free music for this for these two drum beats, because we will be looking at both variations. In the first verse of the song, where the drums actually kick in properly, we have the first drum beat I'm going to explain to you, the simpler drum beat if you like, and then in the second verse Shannon adds an extra note which changes the sound quite drastically, but it's basically the same drum beat with an extra note added to it, which we'll go over in a second as well, obviously. So let's start with the first drum beat, because if we can learn this, we can play the second one as well. And like I say, it's 2 bars long. We'll look at the first bar first, and it's, you can call it a double-handed hi-hat drum beat. So hopefully you're aware of drum beats that are played this way, like 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 3 Eander, 4 Eander. We're playing 16th notes up on the hi-hat, 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 3 Eander, 4 Eander, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. The hands don't change all the way through. It's single strokes all the way through, right, left, right, left, right, left, all the way to the end. And the snare drum is played with the right hands. So the hi-hat, the right hand comes off the hi-hat to play the snare drum. In this case, in the first bar, on beat 2, on the and of beat 3, and on the and of beat 4. So it's quite weird. We've got this snare drum backbeat on beat 2 quite strongly, and then we have these two upbeats snare drum notes on the and of 3 and the and of 4. There's also a bass drum being played on beat 1 with the right hand on the hi-hat. So the first bar very slowly, 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 3 Eander, 4 Eander. You can see the left hand staying up on the hi-hat all the way through. I'm just bringing my right hand down to the snare drum for beat 2, the and of 3 and the and of 4. 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 3 Eander, 4 Eander, 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 3 Eander, 4 Eander. Obviously it's played quite fast though, so you've got to feel comfortable playing single strokes at quite a fast tempo. And the key to that is to remain loose and relaxed. So you can see my grip, I hope you can see that, my grip's quite loose, and I'm just using my wrists. So I look quite stationary up here, but down here is all the movement, all the wrist action. Helps you to use less energy, helps you to keep cooler. You're not going to be sweating as much because you're not going to be using all your arms, but it helps you to play fast as well. So using the wrists are very, very useful for this. Okay, on to bar 2 now, and the bar starts the same way as the first bar. We got bass drum on 1, snare drum on 2, but then we get a line of snare drum notes. So both hands move down to the snare drum, starting on the and of beat 3, and we get Ander, 4 Eander on the snare drum at the end. So very slowly we have this: 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 3 Eander, 4 Eander. Notice only one bass drum in the bar on beat 1 and one snare drum on beat 2. Then we got the line of snare drum notes, 6 of them, Ander, 4 Eander on the snare drum, right, left, right, left, right, left. Just right, left, all the way through. We just move the hands down to the snare drum. 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 3 Eander, 4 Eander, 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 3 Eander, 4 Eander, 1. So let me now play the 2 bars together for you slowly. 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 3 Eander, 4 Eander, 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 3 Eander, 4 Eander, 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 3 Eander, 4 Eander, 1 Eander, 2 Eander, 3 Eander, 4 Eander. Woo, just enough breath for 4 bars. Let me count, sorry, let me not count now. Let me play that again for you without counting, so you get a chance to hear what it sounds like at a slower tempo. So So there you go. That's the two bars played together. The first, this happens in the first verse. Let me play the first verse two-bar pattern a bit faster for you now. And let's move on to the second verse two-bar pattern, which is exactly the same, except we have an extra snare drum note being played on the E of beat 4. Now when I say extra note, what I really mean is that instead of playing the E of 4 with the left hand on the hi-hat as we would in the previous bar, we're going to play it on the snare drum now instead. So we get this E and thing going on the snare drum. E and 4 E and remember it's still right left all the way through. So just for beat 4 we get 4 E and you're back onto beat 1 for the next bar. 4 E and 1. So let me play the first bar slowly with the extra E and in there. Look out, notice how the left hand now moves down to the snare drum before the right hand for the E. So in the previous bar we had just the right hand playing all the snare drum notes. Now we have one snare drum note being played by the left hand just before the right hand on the and, played with the left hand on the E of 4. Here we go. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Don't get confused by the flowy movement of the hands going all over the place. They're not really, it's just right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. You just got to get used to coming down with the left hand for that one place on the E and. It sounds really cool. It sort of leads into the and really nicely. The E and, offbeat kind of quirky kind of feel to it, which I always enjoy listening to and playing. Let me play that a bit faster for you now, just the first bar. And let me play the two bars together at the same tempo without me counting over the top, so you can hear both bars together. And a bit faster. No, I missed some hi-hat notes there. Try again. Sounds cool, doesn't it? And just for fun, this is how I might practice stuff like this. I'm going to put the first verse drum beat next to the second verse drum beat. So I'm going to play the two-bar pattern for the first verse and the two-bar pattern for the second verse, and perhaps play it around a couple of times so you can hear the difference between the two. So I'm going to start with the first verse and move into the second verse afterwards, and then back to the first, back to the second. I'll probably just play each one twice. Let's do it a bit slower than natural tempo. This same tempo basically. 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 E and 2 E and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and 2, 3 and 4. Okay, there you go. So there's the two parts. You've got the first verse and you've got the second verse of the song. Yeah, please let me know if that made sense. Email me any questions. You can write on my forum on my website. You can write on the YouTube video comments below. You can send me an email. So yeah, get back to me if you've got any problems with that. Love to hear from you guys. Hope you find that fun and enjoyable, and I will see you next time.